Doctor? Excuse me.
Yes.
Are you all making us leave?
Making you what?
Somebody said you're going to start moving out patients.
Are you a patient?
My dad, he had to get his leg fixed up, but our house took some damage. I can't take him back there.
No one is going to be discharged if they don't have somewhere to go.
He's still in pain.
No one is going to be forcibly discharged. Now, my name is Dr. Horace Baltz. If you have any problems, you ask to see me, all right?
Thank you.
All right.
I think we should have another review, Anna. And this is a TV show which is just landing on Apple Plus called 5 Days at Memorial with Vera Farmiga and everyone else. Take it away.
Well, this is a change of pace.
Sure is.
So this is a very intense, very grounded, very dark series about the immediate aftermath in the New Orleans hospital called the Memorial Hospital after Hurricane Katrina hit, which meant that the hospital was flooded. It lost its power. And I'm not going to go into kind of details about what happened because it unfolds very beautifully throughout the 8 episodes of the show. But the 5 core dates are essentially tracking what happened to the staff and to the patients and how everyone desperately tried to essentially maintain order and maintain their patients, especially literally alive. When the power supply went, the air conditioning went, and there was no help from the outside or very little help to try to evacuate the patients and the staff of the hospital. So, and how they reacted to that. It's the showrunners are John Ridley, who's best known for penning 12 Years a Slave.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah, and the other showrunner is Carlton Cuse, who's best known for creating Lost. So there's some really serious TV heavyweights and film heavyweights behind the show. And it's based on a Pulitzer Prize-winning book by a journalist called Sherry Fink, which essentially, through an excruciating amount of research, details why the disaster at Memorial happened and unfolded in the way it did. Essentially, the show unfolds itself almost like a crime investigation, like a criminal investigation. It starts with after everything had happened and had, everybody had been rescued and evacuated, there were 45 dead bodies found in the hospital. And the show, as it unfolds, tried to understand why there were 45 dead patients left behind in the hospital. How did that happen? So it's a show where there is no right or wrong. It is an unprecedented situation. It was a situation that was incredibly badly handled by authorities at the time. Something that people of New Orleans and Louisiana and the United States and others of the world are still grappling with.
Right.
So seeing something where you're seeing people whose job it is to care for people trying to do so in the most demonic of conditions, and to at the same time, and this is where the show really excels for me, shows us everyone that wasn't on the ground. People in their 9-to-5 jobs in the insurance companies, the investigators, people who were responding to the emails or going through the motions or going through the bureaucracy because they weren't there with sweating, trying to literally hand lift patients onto the ceiling, onto the helipad of the hospital to try to get them one by one out of the hospital so they could receive care and, survive. There's so much physicality in the show of just seeing the doctors and the nurses sweating, completely exhausted and completely, reacting to situations where there is no manual. And as the investigation and the days unfold, the first 5 episodes of the series are essentially structured as day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5.
Yes.
We see in brutal detail, filmed in a very almost grounded and separate way.
Yeah, dispassionate, isn't it?
Very dispassionate, that's the word. It's almost documentarian.
Right.
Like, it's not trying to make anyone look pretty or anyone look particularly elevated. It's trying to be a straightforward, almost like a journalistic piece. And we're just seeing everything unfold. And the whole way through the show, you're starting to question yourself in the same way when we see a survival film. If we see something, I know it's a completely different genre, but something like Yellow Jackets, or if we read Lord of the Flies, you start wondering, what would I do in that situation? And that's the questions that the show brings up. What would I do in an extreme situation? Do you judge these doctors? Do you judge the nurses or the people for how they reacted to things? It's devastating choices. Devastating choices are made. And the show really manages to both keep us on the ground at Memorial with the people going through it, and at the same time show us the massive mess up that was going out around everywhere else. It has really impactful use of archive footage. I wonder what the meaning behind the choice of using archive footage of the floods instead of trying to recreate them fully was. And in my mind, I think it's because sometimes we do forget as time passes by of just how devastating Katrina was.
And Katrina also is, as you said, a very live political issue still in American society. And this is, watching it in the UK, it's a docudrama of a tragic event. I think with for American audiences, this is almost a political series.
Absolutely.
It's a series of helpers being abandoned by
Absolutely. And it's
federal
also
government,
it's also a series that puts in perspective and makes us try to think about what it means to have a duty of care, what it means for doctors to try to save people.
It reminded me of, in an indirect way, of Ron Howard's 13 Lives, which has just come out, which unexpectedly moved me. I thought I knew that story, just like you might know the headlines of Katrina if you're not sort of intimately sort of engaged with that history. And 13 Lives absolutely knocked me sideways because we've come out of a period where we've been relying on helpers and aid workers, and actually a show like Memorial and a film like 13 Lives is exploring that area of the people we rely on in these moments and watching them stretched to breaking point. I think sort of after lockdown, after what we've all been through, is more emotional kind of than ever, possibly. Good series. I've only seen the opening.
Series.
Have you seen?
I've seen almost all the series. I've got one episode left. And it is grueling. I think it's one that you really can't watch too many episodes in a row of this show. You have to dose them out because they are so intense. And I want to shout out Vera Farmiga is always incredibly reliable. Right. She plays Dr. Anna Poe, kind of one of the physicians at the hospital, but especially Cherry Jones.
Oh yeah, love her.
The great Cherry Jones. One of those actresses who never kind of gets as much credit as she should.
Transparent, I first really sort of got to know her. Incredible performer. Oh.
She's fantastic in this.
And also my mate, somewhere in the throng there, Jonathan Cake, who, when I last saw him, we were doing unspeakable things in a Julia Davis show called Camping. Hey, Johnny. That was 5 days at Memorial.
It was a great video, wasn't it?
I couldn't take my eyes off it.
No, neither could they.
Do they know, do you think, that they can keep up to date with all things Kermode and Mayo's take by following us on our socials? Because they're all here below.
Well, they definitely know it now.
That's true.